Okay, well, with all that form workspace basic stuff in mind, well, let's actually use it to model something. So the example I have set is we are going to be making some basic utensils, like a spoon. I know it's a very common project, but it's also a very effective project for just learning how to use some of the stuff. So in order to create a spoon and what the assignment's going to be, the follow through or a follow along, you'll have that done. And then I want you to make a second one. Either you could try modifying one, like we're going to make a spoon. You can turn that spoon into a spork with simple sketch and extrude or a strainer or something like that. Or you can even go full on and like make, I don't know, like a kitchen knife or a spatula. Or again, I don't know, you have the whatever. It's more of like a mild scimitar. I don't know. You want to make you want to say that you butter your bread with a tiny broadsword or battle axe. Cool. Make yourself a little dwarven axe. I don't know. Whatever. It's your kitchen utensil. You can make it as actually functional or completely useless or somewhere in between as you would like. Yes.
Claire, is this print material food safe?
I mean, don't go stirring hot soup with it.
It's plastic, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if it's plastic, I mean, like, if the question is whether or not it's food safe, I've printed spoons like for coffee scoops I've been using for years, and I'm probably fine-ish. I'm not a good metric to test it. So. Exactly. I'm still technically here. It's only a trivial brain damage. Anyway, eh, look, there's enough microplastics already. You're not going to worry about it getting off a spoon. But we're going to make some simple stuffs. But the things I want you to show you is how you can manipulate a couple of objects, join them together with like the faces and things like that, and add some different dimensions. Because obviously, you can also take a full object and stretch it, shrink it, squish it, everything, and you can manipulate something completely different out of a single object, like this weirdo straw mouse I ended up with. I don't know. It's whatever you see. It's a Rorschach test. Anyhow, so and this is very much the intended follow along. So, starting a new project, I'm going to stay with hybrid design just because it irritates me anymore, but just keeping hybrid design. So remember, the goal is we are making this on two separate components, but we can do that afterwards. What I'm going to do, and you can start with either an image of a spoon if you would like, or not. And I meant to do this before, but let's grab just a spoon image. Cool. I remember what a spoon looks like, but sometimes you want a little bit of a reference. So we'll go with like what it looks like from above. Sure. See if it'll actually let me save this without giving me the runaround. Of course, it's a web file, so we'll have to do the whole like in a new tab, or you can screenshot it, whatever. If you want to import an image, you certainly can. Of course, this is forcing me to make something foolish, so let me pause for a moment. Okay. So if you want to start with a reference image, you certainly can. So that would be the insert, go to canvas, not image, canvas. And in this case, on my computer, find it in screenshots or pictures, screenshots. And that one probably would have been the same. Select which plane you want to start with. I'm going to be looking at it from the top down. So I'm going to use the XY plane, the red green. Right in the middle. There we go. Okay. You can orient it however you want. That's fine. Remember, and how to change the size of a canvas is open or expand the folder here, right click on the screenshot image and go to Calibrate. That allows me to pick 2 points on either end. Currently, that image is 15 millimeters long. We'll say a spoon is 150. I can't remember how big it is right now. So we'll say it's 150 millimeters long. Seems gargantuan. Resize, and now we have a reference point. You do not have to do this. Yes. What? Right click and calibrate. That allows you to actually make the image or the part of the image that's important to an actual numeric size. Yeah, which question? Yeah, there you go. Calibrate right there. There you go. Then you just click a couple the 2 points. And the points I'm selecting are just the opposite ends. All right. 1 second here. And what I probably should have done was actually put the spoon in the correct space first, because it's not going to let me really do it properly now, but we can always go and move that. So let's bring up the move tool, just pressing M, the letter M. Any of those? Nope, I've got to do it before that. So, gotta go back to edit feature, blah, 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 blah. It's really irritating. All I'm doing is literally just dragging the spoon and rotating it slightly, so it's kind of, sort of, actually in the middle. Again, you do not have to do this. I'm just trying to get it close enough to be as a decent reference. Okay, cool. We've got our shape. Next is we're going to start the form workspace. So go to create form. And I'm going to start actually with a plane. Well, let's get the bowl first. It'll be a little bit easier to deal with that way. So actually, instead, let's make the spoon. We're actually going to make this out of 2 separate objects. So with that, we're going to use the sphere object. I'm going to select a plane because you have to create it in a plane. We've got a 2-dimensional input. So since I'm looking at above, continue with that. Let's start somewhere in the center. Don't go by your spoon image if it's a little bit off. Go instead by making it actually on the axis. That will help you immensely. So I'm not trying to align it in the middle of where the bowl of the spoon is, but actually put my cursor on the major axis, in this case, the red line. That way, put it as close as you can. Then I'm going to drag the arrow to scale it roughly about what seems about right. That's it. Now, before I hit anything, you can always do it later, but before I hit anything, I do want to check on the axes. You see how mine, yes, it's a sphere, so it has a longitudinal, latitudinal axis, just like I'm looking at a globe. But I want to have one of the axes line up straight with that red line, which is my x-axis. If you need, you can rotate it later, but the reason I'm saying it now is if you have to shrink or add or subtract the number of faces, and in this case, we're going to stay with the default, what was that, 8? Yep, we're going to the default 8. A whole number can be divided evenly. So I have, in this case, a left and right. That's what we're trying to go with. Because you can add symmetry here, or you can do it afterwards. Before you hit any number or any OK, the last selection here is symmetry. Open it, go to mirror, and you have a couple of options. Do I want it by length? Actually, yes, that is exactly what I wanted. You see the green line appear. That puts symmetry on the left and right. If you have it, maybe you have the whole thing oriented differently, that would put it up and down, but that's not at all what I want. And by height is definitely not what I want, because that would be top and bottom. I want my symmetry to apply left and right across this axis. Hit OK. Cool. Now I have a left and right. And when I hit like the home button or whatever, you can see, whoops. Okay, well, good experience here. I accidentally selected 2 things. So it currently has symmetry on both top and bottom and left and right. That's no good. So I messed up. All I have to do to fix this, under the tool symmetry, the drop down, just go to clear symmetry. Select the object. All the green lines are gone. If you accidentally hit OK and did not apply symmetry before, no problem. We're going to reapply symmetry properly. As you see when I mouse over, mirror symmetry. It's going to ask me to select a face. I'm going to go by from the front, one on the right, one on the left. Green line reappears right down the middle. All I need. So I know that was extra steps. That's because I messed up and I had to clear the symmetry and reapply it separately. Not the big deal. All right. That doesn't really do much. Let me save. And what I haven't done, what you should have done already, save. I put 00. You do not. You put your name, because mine goes to the top so I can find it. So save what you got if you haven't already. Now what we're going to do, spoon isn't very spoony until it's actually a bowl. I'm going to cut this in half. And what I mean by that, remember how we can select things by faces? I do not have to enter the form workspace, but I'm going to make a selection box. I'm looking at the sphere from the side, or in this case, it's from the front, but in the front view, but meaning I'm looking at my spoon from the side. Clicking from the right, click and drag from the right, so it's a select everything box. I'm going to select above the equator, above the halfway point. So it selects everything above the halfway point. And just hit delete. Now I have an open bowl shape. That's all I need. So once you've got it cut in half, now we're going to shape this thing out a little bit. Let's see. From the top, might as well. Let's do from the side. A little bit simpler there. Right now, it's more like a coffee scoop. And if you want a coffee scoop, more power to you. But I don't. In this case, I want to shrink it up, make it more like a spoony spoon. So now we are going to use the Edit Form tool. This is the thing that really lets us manipulate things. The default, it's already selected by vertex. I like that. I'm going to work with that. So you can see all the little points, all the little vertices. I'm looking at it straight through. To select, I want everything per row, meaning I'm going to be not touching the top, but I do want the rows below. So I'm going to select from the left, starting at the left and move right, everything below the top rung. We got that. Now, if you're too far away, it might make it a little bit difficult. But now I'm just going to click and drag the arrow and just drag it up a little bit. Repeat that with the next row. Everything, avoiding the top 2 rows now. Shrink it up a little bit. Repeat it. Everything, the next set down. So I'm just selecting just different levels. But I'm dragging them all upwards a little bit, avoiding the top one, then avoiding the top 2, then avoiding the top 3, and so on and so forth. So all I'm doing is I'm literally just making this bowl more shallow. That's it. So it's the same way through and through all around. Right now, it's kind of a nice soup spoon if you want. And I'm going to hit OK. I don't have to hit OK, but I am going to. So that's how you can shrink things down a little bit. Let me pause there for a moment, check on you. Okay. So we made our spoonies shorter. If you want, you can certainly use those exact same tools using the Form Edit workspace. Then it's straight on.
How does it look like that?
Because I'm looking at it from above.
No, I mean, I saw something.
So what you can do is, again, I'm going to select. If this gets a little bit awkward because I want to select things over here, but if I use a from the right selection box, it tries to select everything. But if I only have vertices as an option on my as my edit form tool, I can select those. So I'm just going to drag it outward and make it slightly spoonier. And you can just do the same thing on all of these. If that's too far, all right, cool. Drag it back. If you want all the things, select all of them. A little bit more spoony. Then maybe instead, now only select just the ones on the axis. Make it more of like a teardrop shape or egg shape. That's all. If you want, you can do the same on the back side, going toward the handle. And I'm just selecting ones only on that axis. That's it. I'm leaving the edges, the sides, or in this case, what's looking at the top and bottom of the screen, I'm not touching those. I'm just stretching that bowl out a little bit so it's more like a spade of a spoon instead of like a rounded soup spoon. That's it. So any reshaping you want to do to the spoon, that's fine.
Actually, I was gonna.
All right. So we've got our spoony shape that's more or less mildly morphed. Whatever. Okay, cool. If it's slightly wobbly like mine, that's okay. Don't worry about it. The main thing is it's spoony shaped. It's half a bowl. To make the handle, we're going to use a different shape entirely, and then we're going to join these two parts together. So I'm going to go to plane.
Oh, I didn't.
And select. That's okay. And it helps it helps a lot if you are already in the top view, looking down at the piece from the top view. So I've got plane, I'm selecting the base plane, the XY plane. And now it's going to start, but just like a center rectangle. So I'm going to start in the center and go outward. Select along that red axis, the Z axis, or the shared axis that you're working on. Somewhere in the middle of the handle-ish. Do not start too close to the handle or to the bowl, somewhere further out. Then I'm just going to click outward. You're just drawing a rectangle. That's close-ish enough because we are going to manipulate this handle as well. So whatever. If you want to make it by dimensions, cool. It's going to be the same left and right, top and down, because it's on a center point rectangle. Don't hit enter, just left click your mouse. Now I have faces and I have left, right, top and bottom. Now, one of the main things I need to do is I need to shrink the number of faces down, going across. See the arrow going upwards, way positive, way too much. I just want 2. In this case, it's width, so that I have a top and bottom, or what will actually happen is it'll be a left and right. The number of faces, the rest, it's up to you. You want to make 3? Cool. Make it more? Also good. It's up to you. If you have slightly more, you have more to work with, but not too much. Don't go crazy and make just like 300 faces. I would say if you want to keep it the original 3, that's fine. Maybe go up to 4. That's plenty of faces. Well, we'll work on it. So we're just looking straight down at it.
Cool.
I can apply symmetry here as well. So before you hit enter, the toolbox, symmetry, mirror, not length, because see, I get the view. That doesn't work. Width, yep, green line goes straight down the line, just like for my spoon bowl. That's exactly what you want. There you go. Now we can do whatever we want to the handle. I'm gonna check on y'all and we'll do that. Oh, okay. So now let's manipulate it. We got that down. Do the same thing. We're gonna use the edit form tool, and you're just gonna play around with it. I have symmetry. If you want to use by vertices, fine. If you want to use by faces, by edges, well, whatever. It's up to you. But I'm gonna keep with vertices right now. Let's pick one. Doesn't matter if it's the top or bottom. And again, I'm looking at it from the top view, so top and bottom is technically left and right, but you get the idea. So I don't know, select one, and then you can either move it with the arrow, free transform, but you can see since we have symmetry, now we can kind of play around with it. You want to shrink and grow from the edges? Cool. Straight back. I got this real wonky ass looking thing. If you prefer, you can select by edges instead. It might be a little easier to control. Going in and out. Or you could use the shrink scale, shrink and grow. One isn't going to do much. You could try rotating. Don't make it go to a point or anything. You want to leave that edge still available. But whatever you want to do, go for it. Play around with it. Scale can work also by shrinking and growing. But play around with it. Make it more of what you want. If you want to kind of make it match an image, great. If you want to stretch or shrink the whole thing, remember you can select do a selection box. I'm selecting the far ends and just using the arrow, and I can drag it closer to the bowl. That's actually what we want. Still leave a gap. Make sure you leave a gap there because we need that space to do the next step. If you have one that's a little bit too, like the end is too square, you can even delete things. Don't you, in the edit form, you have to hit OK. But you can even go in and like select like that vertex there. I can delete that, and now the butt of my spoon is more roundy. It's up to you. But we're just playing around with it a little bit. If you would like, switch to the side view. Right now, my spoon is very flat. You can use the edit form, maybe by vertices, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, like select several and drag it upwards, and now my spoon is slightly more spoony shaped, more arced. You don't have to do that, but that's the basics. Again, this is why I say sometimes it helps to be able to look at multiple views at once. So if you do want to use the multi-view by holding shift and pressing 1, sometimes it is easier to work this way, but it might be overwhelming. It's up to you. Once you get to this point, we're gonna join them together. Cancel. Okay, so we have our spoon. If you wanted to make it more art, that's cool. If you wanted to leave it flat, whatever. Now what we need to do is bridge them together using a bridge tool. There's different ways we can join them, but we're not going to worry about that too much. The whole point of this is it's kind of like a loft between two faces. So you're going to go to Modify, Bridge. And the reason this works is because we have matching faces. So this works. We have symmetry on, so that's cool. Good.
I didn't put symmetry on.
Okay, you don't have to have symmetry on. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to choose a side, which will end up being the side of the handle and the side of the spoon. We're going to select on the toolbox. It already has these arrows for selection. Side 1. Select 1. And you see how they turned yellow? It's hard to see on this default color. Let me see if I can change color. Oh, that's worse.
Oh,
That's way worse. You see how now both of these edges, the actual edge lines, are yellow. Go back to the toolbox, side 2, select the 2 nearest of the spoon bowl. So that would be this one and that one. Both of those sides are yellow. They're 2 faces. They have to match. That's why we dial back the number. You'll see these 2 arrows show up. Good. That's what you want. If you want to see if this is going to work, next down, preview. Check that box. If it doesn't immediately freak out, you're probably good. But this is another place where we're going to get it kind of simplified. Go down to where it says faces. Dial that back to 1. Because this is the same area where like you can add a whole bunch of faces. We don't need to do that. So dial it back to 1. We're good. Hit OK. Now you should be able to have basically a loft, but a thin loft between those 2 edges. And if you get like one of them turns red or you get an error that says like symmetry or something, that's okay. That probably just means that one of your objects didn't have symmetry on. That's okay. At worst, you would just have to go up, clear symmetry, and we can reapply it or whatever. It's not a big deal. I had them both correct, so my green line continues straight through. I'm going to save that. Bridge tool. So that just joins us together. And holy spooniary. I don't know, whatever. Call and response. I can't help it. Okay. Let me pause there. Okay, last step. Now we just literally have to add dimension to this because there's nothing there. So the last step is thicken. Go to modify and thicken. I forget where it is. There we go.
Shoot.
And then all you have to do is select the body and you will get a highlight after you add like some thickness. Like 1 or 2, cool. You're going to get some weird results. So before you hit enter, there's a couple options on here. Thicken type is sharp. So if you want the thing to have
Like jagged edge.
like an extrude straight edge, use thicken, or sorry, sharp. Or soft if you want it to be like, well, spoon, or like a safety spoon, depending on how thick you make this. So I would use the soft, but that's up to you. Doesn't matter.
Can we change the direction?
Leave it as is. Leave it as you want it. Hit OK, and now your spoon has dimension. Now there is actual thickness to it.
Yeah.
It is technically a spoon.
Wait. Uh-oh.
And you can still manipulate it from here, but now your thing has thickness. So if you want it, go to edit form, and I can go around and play around here. Like, I don't know, I'm going to grab one of the sides and just drag it outward or something. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you, you can continue to manipulate this now that there's dimension to it. It's entirely up to you.
I can't move the view. This is not.
But once you have thickened it, you're good. Hit finish form. And hopefully you don't get errors. Once you get to there, you should be good.
Behold, it is complete.
Thicken spoon.
I just realized how
Why am I not being able to say?
how deep the scoop part of the spoon.
So you've hopefully made a successful spoon-like object. Functional or not, that's up to you. You can manipulate this as you please. You can go back into the edit. You can go back into the edit workspace by right-clicking on the tool. Go back to edit form. You can do all that kind of fun. But the goal here is I want to see two. So, one, we need to make this on two separate components. But you don't have to make a completely brand new spoon or whatever. Using what you already know, we are going to augment this one. So I'm going to select the one spoon. We'll call it spoon one. And I'm just going to copy paste. So copy paste, move it to the left or right or whatever, doesn't matter. But bam, secondary one. I've made a different T1. And we're going to modify one of these. Control if your controls control C and control V are not working properly, because sometimes Fusion does that. If you use the move tool, press M, the letter M, select an object, and you will see at the bottom of the toolbox a create copy. That will allow you to also create a copy and just drag it left or right. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that happens sometimes because Fusion is Fusion. Now what we're going to do is augment one of these. So from the top, we're going to do our old favorite, create a sketch. We'll use project to make an outline of the object, our spoon, by just pressing P on the keyboard. And let's make this one into, I don't know, a sieve kind of thing. So I'm going to make a center circle, not in the center, somewhere slightly out of center, and I don't know, sure, 4 millimeters sounds rightish. When I do that, I will need a center point, so probably actually I should have started somewhere in the middle. We'll pretend that is our center. Cool. And I'm going to make this center circle that I just made into a construction line by pressing X. Same thing we've been doing. I just need that for a reference. That's literally it. So I made that little tiny circle on the outside of that. And I'm just going to use the circle pattern to create multiples. Need that in there. I don't know, 3, 5, 350, 7, also good. So I'm just, like we did right for the revolved vessel to make holes in the bottom. That's all I need it for. So I can finish sketch and extrude those circles straight on down.
Now it just looks like a shower head.
Now I've got a kind of sort of strainer. So that's really it. So we're just made a sketch and extrude. You could do something like that. Or I could do another one like I made the other one into a spork. So again, project, pressing P on the keyboard. And then I'll use a center point rectangle, kind of sort of in the center, because I want this to be one of my tines. Or I can just make like a weird double prong fork. And I'm going to use the rectangle pattern because I'm lazy and I want to let the computer do the work. Select it there. I want this to go in both directions. I said symmetric, just on the wrong one. Make a couple. And same deal. Sketch and extrude that.
What?
Extrude those. Ah, poop. It divided it for some reason. This one I need to go both sides, so we'll just extrude out as much as it needs. And now it's a very unreasonable spork.
What?
You will absolutely gouge your mouth. Okay, you know what? Salad Tom.
How do you show me
So all we did is just sketch and extrude. That's it. If you want to augment these at all, as in like put a fillet on anything, super fillety duper.
So to like modify any of this, do I need to go back into like, well, of course I need to go, do I need to go and need another film?
No. Too many. 0.5. It's giving me errors, so I'm going to ignore it. So, oh, that's because I accidentally selected some edges too. So you can modify them however you want, but sketch and extrude is the deal. And that's pretty much it. The last couple things would just be to add an appearance of whatever you please. So
Hold
Press
on.
A on the keyboard, throw it on, whatever you want. I just want you to be experimenting with these still. So, no, metal. Let's see. Lead, yes, a lead spork. That sounds perfect. What could possibly go wrong with a lead spork? Or a concrete spoon. Put whatever you want on there. That's pretty much it. So throw some appearances on after you've sketched extruded. Save. And away you go. So that's a real, it seems like a lot of steps, but all you're really doing is making two shapes, bridging them together, thicken them. All of that is done within the form edit work or the form workspace, finish form. Then to augment one, all I did was copy and paste and move one over, and then just sketch and extrude whatever you feel like doing to it. You want to put holes in the handle, put holes in the spoon, make it a monster spoon, whatever you want. So make something what you want, but you want two objects. One that we just made. The second is an augmented, can be an augmented version. That's it. So good luck. Hopefully no errors. And if you do, remember you have the utility tools.
No, I don't